So first, again, thank you for the meal. It was great. And after listening to what you had to say,
Pasta was great.
yeah, it even tasted greater. So I wanted to start asking you, if you guys know, this is a venture Theo and I actually step upon, which is very interesting. But before I get into it, I wanted to ask you if you guys know, where does your garbage go today?
Incinerate is burned.
Okay, so burn. Anybody else knows where their garbage goes?
The garbage can.
Oh, after the garbage can.
Ba-ding.
Just being silly.
Yeah.
That's what most people know, right?
Yeah.
The knowledge stops.
So that is the main problem, right? We as a society, and I was part of it as well, after we put it on the bin and after somebody takes it, we don't know what happens to the garbage. Unfortunately, we have a big garbage problem in the world. I'm not gonna get into the big of it, but I can tell you there's more plastic in the sea today than there are stars in the sky. If you ask me, that's mind-blowing. And I didn't know that until I got introduced into the problem. Okay? So the main reason we have a big garbage problem is because we're burning it in some places. In some places we bury it, which is almost the same thing, even though we want to call it, we want to say it's better. And in some places it just goes to the ocean. And guess what? The fish eat it, and then we eat the fish. So at the end of the day, it's a cycle. We're eating garbage, right? So through a project we did with Delta Airlines, I got introduced to the big need for SAF. And I started talking to Theo. Theo's my business partner. And we started, there is billions of gallons of SAF needed in the world, okay? Billions of gallons. And there is the airlines, as soon as you say I have SAF for sale, all of them will fight to be the buyer. All of them will fight to be the buyer. It's gotten so bad that even when you're flying, sometimes you see airlines saying, if you have a company that sells SAF, here's an email, please contact us. That's how bad the problem is. And they're being pushed by the majority of the governments to actually fix this problem. In the US, they got to 2050. If not, their penalties are becoming, instead of $2 per gallon they burn, it's going to be $10 per gallon they burn. Delta, which is the company that we're most familiar with, because they hire us to build financial structure for them, actually made $44 billion last year, and they paid over $3 billion in fees. Okay, so finding a solution and a way to actually make SAF for airlines, we stop upon the garbage problem we have in the world. And that's why I gave you all of this data. We today have technology that can turn garbage into energy at a higher scale. So if you look at the competitor, they can actually manage about 5 tons of garbage a day. Which is a lot, still a lot. And from that, they can get about 1 megawatt of energy. Our plants are modular. They can process 120 tons of garbage a day. That garbage actually turns into 3 things. It turns into a pyrolysis oil. It turns into ash that we sell to cement companies. And there's another residue we have that it can be added to gasoline as an additive. Okay? This is with 0 emissions. Now with plastic, we have bumped up the technology as well. It's going from 1 ton of metric ton of plastic a day. Our unit can process 120 tons of plastic a day, okay? So with that said, the financials from what we have is we're taking the landfill model, which is a very profitable model, by the way. It today makes over $200 billion a year just in the US. We're taking their model. The only difference from us is that instead of burying the garbage, we're gonna make money from taking the garbage like the landfills do, but we're also going to make money from what comes out of the garbage through our plants. So we're making energy. In Chicago, we're selling the energy to the state and the power company. And in the DR, we're selling the energy to the government, the Dominican Republic. We already have contracts and LOIs with both already. With the DR, I've met with the president 4 times in the subject. We have a huge garbage problem in the Dominican Republic. There's over 20 million tourists coming every year. And unfortunately, we create more garbage than New York. And that's a lot to say, okay? That's a lot to say. So we've sat with them, we show them what we can do, and our model is very simple again. We're replicating a system to replace the landfill, make the money that the landfills already make, but also make money from the SAF that we're selling to the airlines, make money from the energy we're selling to either the power company or the government. We're making money by selling the ash that comes also from the garbage to the cement companies. And we also have the manufacturer that we work with also created technology that turns natural gas into blue methanol. And we have a buyer also that buys the blue methanol from us. Now, with this, before I go into numbers and before it gets boring, I'm going to let Theo fit you in on what we're doing on the sports side of things and why what we're doing in their end is also important, because obviously they create a ton amount of plastic that is consumed on their stadiums. Go ahead, Theo.
Yeah, as I said before, I'm a vision guy, and when this opportunity hit us and we started looking into the Dominican Republic, and we went to Chicago, and we talked to some waste management people there and got these contracts. I thought a bigger picture is all the assets that I've created by being in the NBA, 16 years, being on the board, executive board, going through collective bargaining and doing all these things, and them having an initiative for clean energy, zero carbon. I thought this would be a great opportunity to go and partner with to create an alliance with the NBA and the NBA cities. So that's kind of my vision long term as far as getting the NBA involved. And then also when you talked about the Dominican Republic, we actually have an exclusive with all the Latin American islands to actually do this. So it's not just Dominican Republic that has the problem. There's a lot of the islands that are doing the same thing, burning trash, creating this big carbon footprint, and we're hoping that we have the ability to be able to go into these countries and solve those problems for them. So it's a great opportunity. Like I tell Elwood all the time, I say, when you try to create a company using a basketball analogy, you want to try to create a championship team. And one of this guy right here, I've been on his board for the last 3 years. I've been able to be around him and look at some of the innovative stuff that he's done throughout his career. And he's a Michael Jordan in this particular business, as you can see with all the different avenues of financing and different things of the nature he's able to sustain businesses. So you got to have a Michael Jordan if you want to be successful in the NBA and win championships on a consistent level. So I appreciate him and appreciate this opportunity for us to be involved in something that's going to be something that we're going to leave a footprint, a positive footprint for our kids in the future and their kids in the future. And that's what it's all about when you're talking about impact investment.
All right, so again, earlier we talked about sustainability. This is kind of the first project, and Theo knows this. I made a lot of stuff that's made a lot of money through the finance world. And all of that's great. We all want to make money. This is the first project that that I've been working on, that I feel and believe that I'm going to leave a better future, not just for myself, my kids, and my family, but for all of us as humanity, okay? And because of the background that I have and the people that we have behind us, which Theo and I are just a small portion of the team that we have, there was someone today that said sustainability doesn't make money. That's not accurate. Sustainability makes money as long as it's structured and put together properly, okay? All of these investments, we already have $187 million out of the 750 we need secure. Aside from that, the majority of initial investments were made by Theo and I, because at the beginning we didn't want to spend, I don't like spending others' money on testing theories. I prefer to spend my money, and if I lose it, I lost it. Who cares? Nobody's going to come back to me and complain, Ed, you lost my money, okay? So with that said, we need 750 mil to do the whole thing. We already have 187 out of that. Theo and I have already invested close to $1 million on this. The group that we're partnered with for the technology has already spent over $200 million developing their tech. And what we've done is, we don't want this just for ourselves. If you call me tomorrow and say, Ed, I want to do this in Switzerland, because Switzerland has the same problem that you're describing, I'm going to come to you and say, I'll help you set it up. No problem. Because at the end of the day, we really, truly want to tackle the garbage and plastic problem. Now, when it gets to, you can call me from any country. It could be in the US. So what we've asked the manufacturer is, because the manufacturer has been using their tech for the past 4 years, but they've kept it to themselves. They're not selling. Have you ever heard of someone saying they're making X amount of terawatts of energy with garbage, like at a large scale? No, because they're not interested in it. You know, they're tech people. They make the tech. They're making money, and they're just sitting comfortably. So what we've asked them is, we got an exclusive to go out and not just make this ourselves. We want to be able to replicate this model everywhere, because at the end of the day, we truly want to tackle the garbage problem, and we truly want to tackle the plastic problem. And the SAF problem, which everybody already knows about, is also another large problem that we're tackling with the same solution. This structure cost us $750 to start. 1 year of operation, it makes close to $400 million net. Within 2 years, it pays off itself. If you tell me that's not profitable, I would love to find out what is, okay? And again, all of the businesses that we've put together, we put our money exactly where our mouth is. The first and initial investments comes from us. I have the financial background to go to the big banks and get good rates on whatever it is we need. We're gonna raise about, out of the 750, we're gonna raise about maybe 200 to 300, and then the rest will come from financing. The 187 comes from a structure that I mentioned earlier. It's called PACE, that we're already fully underwritten. That's it, unless Theo wants to add anything.
No, excellent job. I think if you go into explaining the projections a little bit more, I'm pretty sure people will want to understand that a little bit better.
Yeah, so, go ahead.
You know, what was fascinating to me when I first heard about this is the discrepancies in the costs and the discrepancies in the costs between what waste, which nobody thinks about, what it's purchased at, those economics. And you took me through that when we first met, and it was very helpful for me to see this. Do you mind going? It's almost like the unit economics.
Yeah. So understand that today, governments don't actually, at least in the US, governments don't actually collect their garbage. They hire private companies to do that, right? Now, they paid those garbage companies $120 per every metric ton of garbage that company picks up. Now, that company that charges $120 takes it to the landfill, and they pay the landfill $85 to leave it there. Now, it costs the landfill $20 on EPA fees, and then $60 is profit. Since we understood that this garbage business is very keen and is controlled like the mob, unfortunately, and I don't like using that term, but it's the reality, we actually went ahead, got close to some of the families that work on the space, And we ended up working with one of the families that is keen to actually see something positive happen, because in their end, it's affecting their pocket. It's costing them $20 per every metric ton of garbage they bury, okay? So we went to them and said, well, instead of burying it, why don't you pay us $60, which is your total cost? You now don't have to pay the fees, and it's a win-win. I'm not competing with you. You still pick up the garbage. All you're doing is you're now giving it to us, and we're going to turn it into something. So we're right off the bat. Today we have a commitment with that family to give us starting 500 metric tons of garbage a day, 500 metric tons of garbage a day, with a possibility to go up to 5,000 metric tons of garbage a day. If you visualize, if I ask you for a minute, visualize 5,000 metric tons of garbage. That's a lot of garbage. That's one city. They're collecting 5,000 tons of garbage from one city a day, okay? So pretty much just the economics on the money we're gonna make just for taking the garbage, we haven't turned on the machine yet. Just from taking the garbage, we're already making money. And these are people that have government contracts already that are secure. And unfortunately, they've played the game well. A lot of people tend to say, well, it's unfair, they control it. It's not unfair. At the end of the day, they made the investment. They found a way to actually solve it. If you go back to history, you see that there was a huge crisis in the US prior to these families deciding to do something about the garbage business. Okay, I mean, about what to do with the garbage. I get it, our system now, as some of us were saying earlier, is not the best, but hey, humanity tends to work step by step. So aside from that, after we turn on the machine, now we took the garbage goes into a sorter. And the sorter takes organic garbage to the machine that makes energy. It takes the plastic to the machine that makes SAF. And it takes tires and anything that is hazardous waste into the SAF machine because it can process it. Now, anything we can sell, that family that we partner with in US will buy from us because we're sorting paper, for example. They will pay us $300 a metric ton for us to organize it for them into a little square. So this business, every single aspect of it makes money. There is no loose end here. We have no fees to pay, and pretty much from taking the offtake from beginning to end, it's all, we make money pretty much from every single aspect, and it's backed by contracts. With the Dominican Republic, we did it a little different because they're a country. That's where I'm originally from. So we reached out to them. We told them, listen, we know you have this problem, and you're a country. We're not going to tackle just one city because that's not going to change anything. We want to tackle the whole country. So they told us, Ed, today we have the largest landfill in the world, aside in the whole Americas. And then in the whole world, our landfill is the 5th largest in the world. That's a lot for on a small island. Okay, and it's again because we receive over 20 million visitors every year. So when we went to them, we said, well, we don't want to have any, we don't want to have any problems with permitting. We don't want to have any problems with use, buying land to get this use. So we partnered with the government and we told them, we don't need money. Money we got, we want land. Give us the land and you process all the permitting for us as the government. Now with that, you can take, instead of burning your garbage, which is what's happening today with 70% of the garbage, give it to us. And we'll turn it into energy. We sell you back the energy cheaper than what it's costing you to use fossil fuel today. And we'll sell the SAF and we'll pay you sales tax on the SAF. Now, one thing that we did ask them is, since we're not asking you for any money, we don't want to pay any capital gains for the next 15 years, which they agree with. So they're donating the land, they're going to do all the permitting for us, and we don't pay any capital gains on money we make on the plant in Dominican Republic. And that's pretty much a summarized, compact version of the financials behind Zero Plastica.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, any questions? We'd love to hear them.
Well, I think it's really brilliant, and I want to just hone in on, you've kind of thrown down the gauntlet. People that might want to take this into different countries, you are open to partnering. Just run that through for everybody, exactly how that works. Yeah.
So again, even if I wanted it to, it is not possible for me to solve the garbage problem on my own.
Right.
It's not. Even if we said, within our company, we have close to 70 people today, and in the board, we are 18. Even if we said we're going to divide each of us, the world is a large place. So we need people that have access to whoever's managing the garbage in their countries to come to us and say, hey, in my country, they're burning it. And it's actually emitting CO2 into the air, and it's killing us. Believe it or not, a lot of the problems health problems that we have today are caused by what we eat, mainly, and then by what we are exposed to. So if you're breathing, even though, let's say, the incineration plant is 4 miles away from where you live, it still affects you because it's in the air, and you're breathing air to be able to be alive. So we're looking for partners that actually care and want to make money as well, because we already make the financial structure for it. All we're looking for is for people in the strategic places to say, I care enough and I want to go ahead and take on to be able to do what you're doing in US and in the Dominican Republic. In the Caribbean, we already started talking to all the other islands and to all the other countries. And we're looking for people to get engaged similarly to how we're offering. Because at the end of the day, it's not a US problem. It's not a Swiss problem. It's a humanity problem. And if we humans don't solve it, there's 2 ways of solving the garbage problem. Number 1, we decide to do something about it. Number 2, there's no humans in the planet and there will be no garbage, right? So that's it.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Listen, absolutely fantastic. Zero Plastica, Edward Rodriguez, BPN Capital. And Edward will be again on tomorrow, so we'll hear more from him. Theo Ratliff, we're probably going to bring you back tomorrow too, but I really wanted to, because there's been an energy theme today, so we wanted to bring full circle. I think this is one of the most innovative. It's a creation. It's a financial, business, operational creation to solve a major problem in the environment and social. So really, absolutely well done. Congratulations on what you've achieved. We'll think about it as we're having drinks tonight and come back to you with more ideas, okay? Edward and Theo, thank you so much. Thank you.